in this tournament. He was one of the players that a lot of people didn't expect to get all the way through the open bracket, but he did. It's a well-deserved spot, and he's looking quite powerful. I mean, he's gone down against everyone except for Inno at the moment, but... And honestly, winning this series would be a pretty huge upset. But let's see if GuMiho can find a win here against Serral. GuMiho's style in TVZ is honestly something that Serral has mentioned before that he finds a little bit tough to deal with. But we'll get into it. We'll watch this game unfold. At the bottom right here, from NC Sports, literally the world champion, it is Serral.
Easy for Ents.
Easy for Ents. And is this guy so easy? I'm not so sure. This is Psystorm's GuMiho. The mech god. He's been loving it in TVZ at the moment. It's definitely his favorite way to play the matchup. And he's a bit of an innovator, but we haven't seen a whole lot of crazy stuff from innovation, from GuMiho in this group so far. I wonder if he's saving it for this man.
How about Serral opening with the spawning pool and double extractor here? So he's going to be playing very aggressive here with roaches and ravagers.
It's the roach rush.
And he might have some sort of read on GuMiho. Like, you know, obviously when you play some of these players, you can very easily access some of their VODs, do your studies and all that. And
oh, I think you might be right.
I think Serral has done his studies.
I think he's done his homework, man. GuMiho going for a CC first against a Zerg that's going for a Ravager rush. This is almost a build order win straight up. I don't want to say 100%, but I'd say like 99.9% sure that this game is going to end pretty soon.
GuMiho has no idea, no scout, nothing. The first two links are going to start making their way around the map as the roach run is about to finish. And I mean, if you don't see this coming and you don't have a bunker or... I mean, even if you had opened like normally, like this can be a really hard rush to hold on against. But if you don't know it's coming, like I just don't see...
Yeah, no SCV scout.
Like, maybe if he scouted now, flew CC in the main base, made a bunker, and then hope that Serral falls asleep. Like, it's going to be really difficult.
GuMiho is definitely hoping that Serral's mouse and keyboard get depowered right now.
And he can't even pause because it's depowered.
Exactly,
anyway.
You can't pause if it's depowered. Well, the good thing is, you mentioned it, the CC is going to be done so you can lift it up into the main base, but not having a factory, no high ground bunker, that is just not good at all here for a Terran. He's trying to deal with a Ravager rush, which is very, very soon to hit. The first two links are coming on in here to deny what would normally be a well-timed CC. And Serral's going to confirm that that was command center first. These two lings just leading the charge. There's no way to wall them in at the moment.
Yeah, GuMiho probably thinks like, oh nice, I'm getting two lings, I'm doing well.
He's not thinking nice right now. Absolutely not. He sees these two lings and he's like, oh, this is bad news bears. I'm in trouble.
The Ravagers are going to come in there. They've already been morphed around the middle of the map, so they can start on spamming these corrosive bias here. Second factory on the way for GuMiho as well. He's trying to
no doubt PG statements only from GuMiho here as he sees three Ravagers come into his ramp. Oh, getting us surrounded, a couple of them. Oh, they're managing to slip out here. Those Ravagers must be covered in butter.
Yeah, Serral actually freed these Ravagers with some nice snipe on the one SCV that was at the bottom of this.
Now, obviously, GuMiho, because he went for a greedy opening, has a lot of workers, so he can afford to lose some here. Serral's got a very, very dedicated attack. This needs to actually kill GuMiho or do much more critical damage to be able to make Serral, you know, actually win this game.
Yeah, he's still making roaches behind these small Ravagers who will rejoin this fight here. And he wasn't actually finishing the factory here for a little bit. Big mistake by GuMiho.
Good chain of biles there, burning down that bunker, which is very low in hit points, to be able to finish it off with the next wave of biles. By the looks of things, this Hellion is all right against these Ravagers. You know, it's not too bad against them, but it just doesn't seem to be enough. GuMiho is just trying to get out whatever he can, and it isn't gonna meet Serral toe-to-toe. He's gonna get gate number one very quickly there. It's basically a build order win, but of course there's a lot of micro and a bit more of a struggle there. Front row is unimpressed.
Usually they say easy for Ents, but this was... I don't even know what to call that. That was... Don't even waste your time trying at this point.
Hashtag get out of my game, Ents. So this is the new one, I think. Well, I mean, Serral 1-0 up already in the series in this best of three, already on match point. A very decisive, quick win there for him. Made it look easy. So there's worse Terrans out there would definitely have a bit of a rough time with it, but GuMiho is quite good and Serral is way better. It's unfortunate. It's the way it is at the moment. GuMiho getting into map number 2. I wonder what he's going to go for here. Hopefully there's an SCV scout involved.
Yeah.
Depends on the map as well. You know, there's some maps where Roach Ravager rushing is actually just not that clever. And I doubt that it's going to be a strategy that Serral relies on in this tournament, to be honest. It's something that's very, you know, it's gimmicky.
Yeah.
You whip it out every now and then in a series, especially if it's a longer series. But Serral's standard play, his regular macro Zerg play is so good that it is honestly even more powerful.
But everybody has like their build orders that, you know, they like to do a whole bunch, and sometimes it takes a little bit of a wake-up call, like this kind of game, for you to start scouting, you know? Like, again, I really feel like this was a read by Serral, and he knew that it was likely there might be something like a command center first. He went for that build order, GuMiho completely caught off guard, and I mean, when that happens, obviously, it's pretty bad news, so he's gonna have to move past that, stay focused, and try and play better here in map number 2.
Yeah, it's got to shake it off and move on here. And it's hard to do because, you know, these are human beings. They have emotions. They are frustrated if they're in the bottom side of the group and they are...
Well, GuMiho is a human being, yeah.
He is a human being, yes. Serral, the jury's still out.
I don't know, yeah.
Jury's still out. On the far right here, the man in question from NC Sports, the Finnish Zerg, it is Serral! And the top left here from Sidestorm Gaming, currently down the series, lend him your energy, Poland. He is GuMiho!
And he's gonna need no less, I think, here. A difficult task ahead. He's playing for his tournament life at this point, being 1 and 2 here in this group. If he was to lose this one, it definitely would be big trouble. Then I think we would be starting to see a clear potential top 3 here, with the 4 Zergs really leading the charge here in this group.
Oh my god.
So, GuMiho, please stay alive.
Well, please survive. GuMiho is going for the CC first again. So clearly this is the way that he likes to play this matchup at the moment.
Yeah, on this map, it's definitely quite a bit
year
better.
0 is quite huge. So I don't blame him for it. And the chances of Serral going for a Roach Ravager rush again are a little bit silly. What up, Space Satan? Keep chilling and being evil, dude.
He's got dreads like you.
Those are on his face, mate. That's not dreadlocks. That's a beard. I guess dreadlock beard.
Kind of looks like you, actually.
Kind of looks like me. Thanks, Todd. Cool. What a mate. Should have invited you to my wedding.
He looks magnificent like you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right, we got a gas here early on from Serral. Gonna want to start speed, I'm guessing. Make sure he's got some links and some map control. It's very rare to actually have maps with a watchtower. Like nowadays, we almost don't have these anymore at all.
This is the only map that has watchtowers. I mean, there is. It does actually offer a lot of utility on this map because of the potential of knocking down rocks and having attack bars. It's a very important watchtowers to take, especially in the late game, where the bases start to spread out to the bottom. So of course we have to see if we get that far. These are the attack paths being shown by the observer here. You break down these rocks, very short attack distance, especially considering this is where the third of Serral's being taken, which is honestly a little bit uncommon for Zerg to take this third instead of the one to the south.
And considering how much GuMiho likes his mech, and this is like a longer rush distance map, it can have its pros in that it's going to be harder to, you know, attack him and get there on time, but with the Nidus being the X factor and like being so cheap and easy to use, it feels so difficult to go for something like mech still. And also like longer rush distance means that for GuMiho to do any sort of attack, you know, with mech, he doesn't have Nidus. It would take forever to go across the map and all that. And against a Zerg like Serral, I feel like it's almost completely discouraging to even attempt anything like mech, right? Because he's going to have Swarmos go all over the place, take his side of the map, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Well, this version of mech that GuMiho is going for here is looking to be the battle mech, so quick second factory. And this is, of course, you know, we've seen it a lot. A lot of you guys have been watching StarCraft at home, you'll recognize it. It is the Hellion Cyclone style, where it's very mobile. You run around, you lock onto units, kite them back, and do damage from the back line. GuMiho actually did a really good job using this style against Reyna, who a lot of people are talking about as Serral 2.0. He did that in the open bracket. And while it is a very powerful style, it's something that I doubt Serral will have too much trouble against, as he's played against it a ton, and his mechanics are insane. He knows exactly how to play against these kind of unit compositions.
Yeah, grabbing that Roach Warren here right now is Serral, as speed's on the way as well, still droning up a bunch. And we got a Viking on the way to make sure he can clear out that one Overlord, and then, you know, any more that might be out on the map, which actually isn't really any. He only has one Overlord on the left side of the map. Reaper here will get caught He does spot the roach run, though, about to complete, but I mean, that's no surprise. Could have anticipated that for sure anyway.
We're seeing 4 gases being, or it's actually 3 gases being taken here by Serral to get that extra bit of gas income for the roach stage of the game. Now, the big question is Serral going to continue to build queens here? Is he going to go for a Nidus, or is he and amass roaches, or is he just going to use a good number of queens to defend, spread creep, and use the roaches on the ground to attack? He did mention in his interview with Smix that he's not really utilizing the Nidus worm too much at the moment.
Well, some players say that, and then boom, next thing you know, they're popping all over the place. I feel like it's situational. Maybe like he means that he's not that confident with it necessarily, like compared to some players and how well they use it. But given the opportunity, if he thinks that it's the best thing to do, I still think he would not hesitate and actually go for it.
I'm with you there. Hellions coming in for the high ground. Serral sees it with his creep spread, of course. Has some units positioned in the natural. His defense looks a little thin. It's primarily Lings, but a beautiful surround. Oh my god.
It doesn't get any cleaner than this.
That's as clean as possible.
A lot of Lings survived as well.
The only thing that's going good at the moment for GuMiho in this game is that he's killed a couple Overlords with his Viking. Normally the Viking doesn't get that many kills, and the supply block Serral for a little bit, but you can see that he was already thinking 2 steps ahead. We're seeing the round out here from GuMiho going for the Battle Max style. He's getting Magfield Accelerator here for the Cyclones. Armory going down for that +1 armor upgrade to make the Cyclones a little bit more powerful and the Hellions a little bit more powerful. But again, a pretty solid lead here for Serral.
Yeah, I mean, Serral, if he's allowed to drone up as he likes, which is pretty much every single game, because he always knows. I really feel like that's like one of his biggest things at which he's good at, is he knows how to make exactly enough units to be safe and have the defense with the position, and he still keeps on droning at the same time. Like, it's crazy, like a lot of players, you know, they would either make too many units or too many drones, but in Serral's case, it's always perfect. It's very rare to see him like make any mistakes in regards to that. And in this case, you know, he's making a bunch of roaches right now. Boom, goes right back into 4 more drones, still building up that economy. And that creep spread is out of control.
Yeah, he's just started his 4th base as well. As I mentioned, his 4th base o'clock here for Serral. And his creep spread, as you mentioned, Todd, as well, extremely active, looking great, starting to take over the map with that creep. GuMiho is getting that +1 armor upgrade as we sort of expected here. Serral, though, like I've also mentioned a few times, knows how to play against this style. He's getting an infestation pit here, and there's a couple options. So with the infestation pit, you can go for the Viper option, where you know, shoot up in a hive, get the Vipers, yank those Cyclones into the Roaches or the Hydras. At the moment, it's just Roaches for Serral. The other option is to use these ranged attacks to make Locust and Swarm Host more powerful, which is another thing that Zergs, like Reyna, have been trying to use against this sort of unit composition.
Serral just made like a whole lot of Overlords. I think like as many as 7, so he's making sure he has a lot of supply freed. So I'm leaning towards Swarm Host maybe, because these do take a lot of supply. Actually, he goes into 2 Infestors.
Well, I actually don't hate the Infestors, because the real power of this style from GuMiho is that it's mobile. If you get a fungal on it, then it actually can't escape after he gets locked on. So you can actually overwhelm it with the roaches, especially with speed and with the attack upgrades.
No pathogen glands though, so it's going to take some time for him to reach enough energy to have that fungal. Hive now starts for Serral. Serral is one of those Zergs on Hive tech. He becomes like even scarier than almost anybody else, because he knows so well how to use these Broodlords, get them on time, be patient and all that, and then it becomes a completely different game. You know, like, we don't get to see Broodlords very often, I feel like, out of Zergs. Yeah. But when they do get there, they're like one of the scarier units in the game if managed properly, and I don't think anybody manages them better than Serral, really.
I call them GG Lords in my stream, because they usually do in the game for my opponents. We have actually, you know, with looking like he's going into Broodlords here, it's a unit that can be strong. It also can be destroyed really quickly by these Cyclones if GuMiho gets deep enough. But of course, that sort of relies on Serral to make a mistake, which we know that he doesn't really make a habit out of doing here. GuMiho has not seen the Spire. Obviously, he hasn't seen the Hive either, but you can kind of guess this coming along.
Where are the Infestors?
Okay, he has seen it. It's on the way here.
He's going to try to bait him. Yeah! Oh, I saw this coming. He's baiting him at the Watchtower here, lands the fungal.
Oh my god, and that is not good at all for GuMiho. These Cyclones trying to escape after they got their lock-ons, but several of them going down there for free to Serral. Yes, he picked off 1 or 2 roaches, so maybe not completely free, but it is still a lovely catch for the Zerg.
Yeah, that was so sick. He took control of the Watchtower knowing that GuMiho was going to get back in there, set up the 2 Infestors on the high ground, landed the fungals, and now Serral feeling confident enough to move across the map and engage with his Roaches and Ravagers.
I think this might be another extension from Serral here, as the Banshee's really doing the damage for the Sky. Also, there was a bit of a flank of Cyclones from GuMiho, as we see, yes, he does overextend. GuMiho actually takes a really good trade there, pushing the Zerg all the way back. And while he is down a fair bit in army supply, he feels like he can press the issue. Be careful of these infestors, he does have a fungal here.
Yeah, thanks to that scan, he saw that coming.
He's like, whoop.
All right, not so fast. Let's just pull back for a second here, as we do see the second armor upgrade, I think it is here, from GuMiho underway. A second armory, 4 tanks in the production tab, and it's looking pretty good, to be honest, in terms of like composition and where he's at. You know, like not trailing too far behind in supply, even though he's facing roaches. But that greater spire, I feel, is going to be really scary. I already talked about it. Brood Lords, they can be a bit of a game changer here in terms of sieging potential. And in this very particular case, I don't think that GuMiho is necessarily aware of the timing of the greater spire, even though he scanned previously onto that hive and saw that it was morphing. So he must have some sort of idea that this is going to be on the way eventually.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the hive, you know that there's going to be either Vipers or Broodlords or both. And eventually Serral will have both. Vipers are actually so powerful against this unit comp from GuMiho, especially if he's going to be on a Broodlords. You want to have those Vipers because the biggest threat to them are Thors or Vikings. And Vikings and Thors are actually dealt with pretty handily by the Viper.
There's some more upgrades going down now for GuMiho. He's heading on a bunch of command centers. As we take a look here at Serral's vision, strap yourselves in. Strap yourselves in. This is the champ, friends. This is the only way you'll be able to see through the eyes of the champ. We're going for a ride here.
That's right. Just playing at probably a casual 350 EPM. Sees exactly what's happening in the main here of GuMiho, and see that he's being consistently active with his army as well. His creep spread not missing a beat, his upgrades not missing a beat. Serral doing a great job maxing out, spending his resources, never ceasing to move that army around, patrolling, trying to catch this army of GuMiho. Goes for a fungal here, and he does land a couple nice ones, but can he capitalize on it? I don't think so. That's a lot of mech.
It's a very scary army here from GuMiho if Serral overextends, so he can't really go too far. I mean, obviously he's trading roaches here. Not the end of the world if he loses a bunch and trades them for these mech units, but yeah, you don't want to fight with this smaller army here after having lost his front line. GuMiho is starting to have some scary supply here though. 105 in army supply, and that's with upgraded tanks, Cyclones, Hellions, and soon it's going to be 3-1 in terms of upgrades, but we do see 3 Brood Lords here about to complete, and with Pathogen Clans on the way, and with that crit spread in particular, it's going to be very hard for GuMiho to take a good engagement. And yes, he can only engage by ground. It's not like he has, you know, medivacs to drop his army or something to be aggressive with. So he's going to have to step on that creep to start fighting, and that's Serral's comfort zone here.
Yeah, Roach's ground army is actually losing a lot of potency here. The Roaches and the Infestors, every time they come forward, while it looked really good earlier for that first fungal and that first catch, he's been struggling to trade well against GuMiho's army, which always gets those lock-ons and always seems to have a concave, taking out plenty of Zerg units. The Broodlords, though, a different story. We're seeing nothing but Thors in production here for GuMiho. He knows that this is the biggest threat to his army. Serral's going to need to look towards getting Vipers here to make the Thors a little bit easier to deal with. However, another option is that Roaches are actually quite good against Thors, so you can just continue to hold that R button, get the Roach army up enough to be able to try and push through that Thor line.
It feels like he should be on maybe multiple starports by now. Like, you know, obviously Queens are very good for using transfusions for saving the Broodlords, and fungal can be really scary, but in terms of having just pure grounds, it's going to be so hard for GuMiho to actually win the engagements. I mean, I'm not a Terran player, but
Hellbat Ducks on the way. Oh, siege tanks? What?
He's gonna siege on the high ground? Oh my god, this is like a Brood War-esque.
Yeah, this is so weird. Siege. I mean, he's going to be in range of 2 siege lines here. This is really cool from GuMiho. I haven't seen this before. Very nicely done, or at least not in a long time. The Roaches and the Ravagers are coming up. A few of them are dying here to the siege tanks of GuMiho, and they will get cleaned up. You know, GuMiho doesn't unsiege them and pick them up in the medevacs. The medevacs are just patrolling here for a little bit more vision. Was that worth it, GuMiho? I just don't think so, but he's freeing up supply for units that matter a little bit more. He doesn't really want that many siege tanks anymore. He wants more air units.
Yeah, that about some time. By the way, GuMiho is fearless. Like, he knows there's infestors, but he's still... Oh, hello. There was infestors.
Wrong part of town. They get taken down. The Broodlord's coming forward here. Losing those infestors does sting a little bit for Serral. He's coming forward once again, picking off a Cyclone or 2 here. GuMiho continuing to amass those Cyclones. The triple starport's about to finish to go up to 4 starports in total. His medevacs are just on patrol, mate. It actually helps Serral not to kill them, because that's 4 supply that could be in something useful.
Yeah. Surprised he didn't fly that back. Serral, he feels like he wants to siege, but he's also very aware that if he steps off creep, it's there's no return ticket.
Yeah, that's right.
He'll be stuck out on the map and having to win the fight, and kind of committed to it. And I guess he can't really see whether there's a lot of Vikings or not, so he might be scared, you know, to take a big engagement, because like replenishing Broodlords takes a very long time.
Locks on that hatchery, takes it out. Very nice usage of the Cyclones here for GuMiho. That scan offering that little bit more vision to be able to get that lock-on finish off. We're seeing the Vipers on the way now for Serral. They're going to be very, very important. Actually seeing Neural being researched from Serral as well. Interesting. It'd be cool to use that maybe against the Thors or something. Oh, he's got the Hive locked on here by some Cyclones. There's a lot of hit points on that Hive though, so it does take a while.
Vipers are such a great addition, by the way, to this army because they deal with the ground with the Blinding Cloud.
Oh, he's got it.
They deal with the air with the Parasitic Bomb. By the way, these Cyclones against buildings with max field accelerator are absolutely insane. Some of the best real estate advantage you could ever gain.
So without the Hive, that means that if Serral loses these Vipers, he can't get them again. Not until he has another Hive. So that is a big window for GuMiho to maybe start pushing forward with these Thors.
It doesn't take that long, to be honest, to get a new Hive, right? Like, he's already got Lair.
I think he started, I think he might have started the Lair before the Hive died. Like, he just knew that it was going to die, so it's just covering his bases, literally. Getting Burrow here with Neural actually could be a big play, a big clutch play from Serral. GuMiho's getting Ravens. Ravens off for mobile detection, so he can catch those Infestors Burrow potentially, but also their ability to drop those anti-armor missiles to make the attacks of the mech units do so much more damage against those Broodlords, Corruptors, and Ground Army.
We might be in for the long haul here. Because like, it felt like...
We're in it, baby.
Oh, yeah.
This is late game.
I think GuMiho wanted to push, and then Serral wanted to push with the Broodlords, and now they're kind of like, all right, you're really good. No, you're really good. So they neither of them can really push without completely committing. So they're just doing this dance a little bit here in the center of the map. But for now, there's not going to be any big engagement, and they're looking to just kind of split the map.
Well, both players are just maxed out, but this throwing away resources for damage wherever they can, and so far, trade's been all right for both players. Neither player in a huge advantageous position at the moment. Nearly gets that Infestor, does actually scan and pick it off on the right-hand side there. Nice pick off with those Cyclones for GuMiho. Pretty good micro and very, very nice control and patience from both players.
These Cyclones are insane at the bottom, terrorizing that side of the map. Thors being gathered now, and that's a good amount of Vikings, I guess, but obviously neither player can really engage into the opponent because for Serral that would mean moving off creep and potentially engaging into a really bad concave. And for GuMiho that would be attacking on creep. So Serral would have all the vision in the world, he would be the one setting up the concave, and then all he has to do is land the proper fungal, kind of like this one. Wow, that was really nice.
The Infestor hit squad, he was waiting for it. Very nicely done by Serral. Cute play, gets rid of those Cyclones at the expense of a few Zerg units, but a very, very good trade for Serral there.
I love how that Infestors just kept on unburrowing, then using fungal. He's like, sup?
Serral's Infestor wanted to look into their eyes as they died. Killing his house, for killing his home, that hatchery earlier.
Is that Yamato Cannon?
That is Yamato Cannon, my friend, or Yamato as it's also known. We're going to be seeing some BCs from GuMiBro. Sick game. What a great game so far.
Channeling his inner Nathanias. I like it. And we've reached the split map.
Yeah,
for the most part.
That's right. There's only one base remaining that hasn't been taken to the very, very south here. The observer's showing it to us right now.
He doesn't need it yet.
Not yet. And GuMiho, I mean, when you're a mech player, you have a lot of minerals. He's been making a lot of command centers here. You can turn them into orbitals so they can just drop mules, which he's doing right now. Scans also pretty important.
Oh my god. That is a lot of command centers. He needs to start sacking SCVs, I think, soon, actually, because 77.
That's quite a few.
His army supply is going to be lower for sure. 122 to 133 right now.
Locks on that hatchery, and the Cyclones nestling in a corner here, which means it's going to be hard for them to evacuate. In fact, they won't. They'll just die. Do get a lot of hit points in that hatchery, but that's about it. Serral is at the point of the game where you use those extra drones to just start becoming a Spore Crawler forest here.
There we go.
There's that SCV pool. Now you have to, I agree with you, get rid of these SCVs because all that GuMiho really needs is mules and gas income. As long as these gases are all saturated and he can mule up, he's more than happy to lose a bunch of SCVs to make more units, and those units are going to be the BCs.
Wow. And I think both players are going to reach maximum upgrades here in a second, as we've got the last one possible here for these units from GuMiho already on the way. Plus 3 Zerg Flare attacks here now. 4 Serral on the way. Plus 2 Carapace. And yeah, it's exactly 19 SCVs. I think that was the right amount. Parasitic Bomb landing on a lot of these units there. Serral.
Wow.
That was huge.
Huge Parasitic Bombs getting rid of a lot of those Vikings, and the Fungal nearly killing that Raven in the end there as well. Very nice catch from Serral. GuMiho not looking, and for a split second, and Serral always to capitalize on those mistakes.
Yeah, and something that helps Serral a lot here with all of this is the Crisp Spread. Every single time he gains vision from it. And in this case, he can even bring his not so static defense, his mobile defense here, or mobile offense even rather, with the Spores actually joining the fight here and being on the other side of the map. GuMiho loaded up a Medivac here on the...
Yeah, it's got a Thor in it.
A single Thor harassment. All right.
Well, this Planetary's in a lot of trouble. GuMiho coming in to try and help out, but it's going to be a little too late. His army's moving from the natural towards the south here. Serral getting a base. It's a nice start to his push. Let's see how much this Thor can do. The main doesn't have the hive there anymore, so, I mean, the Thor can pick off some important structures here, like maybe the spawning pool. Getting spore crawlers is always nice as well. It can drop in later. GuMiho is just making BCs here, and honestly, if he manages to get a good number of BCs up with 3-3 upgrades, he could surprise and kill Serral's army very quickly.
Hydra is then, going on the way now for Serral, so he's thinking about all of his options in terms of replenishment. Anti-armor missile lands.
Can't capitalize on it, unfortunately. Good zoning with those queens. I mean, of course, with these BCs, you can't really fight over the spore crawlers either, as they do so much damage to them. GuMiho throwing away more SCVs here. Serral actually keeping his worker count relatively low as well, because he knows it's all about getting a big army. Triple Thors going to the north here. Serral once again working on another planetary. Yoink! Getting a few of those Thors into the Broodlings.
I like the drop with the Thors at the north, by the way, because I think he needs to sack them. Like, they're not actually that useful anymore in the fight. There's too many Broodlords, 16 in total, so he wants to replenish this supply in Vikings and Battlecruisers. He might just go pure air and then just try to land as many good Yamato cannons in these fights as he can, as this base now will be sniped. The main base of Serral is going to be under assault here from these Thors. He has to run all the way back with a lot of his units, but it's actually a very scary force here with all of these guys.
It is scary, and they're picking off a few things here in the main base of Serral, but it's structures that he doesn't really need that much apart from the Hydra Den. You know, I mean, maybe making more queens. I guess the spawning pool does need to exist to be able to get those spore crawlers. Nice corrosive piles, by the way, getting a few of these medevacs, taking down the Thors as well.
All right, there's Infestor, so this isn't going anywhere.
Losing Infestor there.
Fungal gonna land, and is it going to be a cleanup here?
Sure it will be. Infestor Terrans even finishing off those medevacs.
And yeah, this is what I was saying, by the way. He's replenishing that supply in Battlecruisers. 5 of them being made at once. Thor's cleaning up. He knows that Serral pullback. He's using the scans so beautifully. A Thor run by Maynard.
Or a waddle by, or a walk by, or something. But they're on top of this low hit point hatchery. The Cyclone's locked on before. This one's just being a shoulder to cry on for this other Thor here, not actually helping out in the fight. Serral's going to lose this hatchery by the looks of things. Nice pick off there for GuMiho. Gas income and base income, very, very important for both players.
Yeah, that's going to bleed out, but... Still, that's a lot of Thor, and he's actually replenishing them. Interesting. So not quite ready to go into full air. That's a lot of Battlecruisers, which, by the way, as much as GuMiho keeps on scanning and sees this entire army, Serral, I don't think, knows how many Thors are being made right now. So if he eventually finds himself with 16 Broodlords against a pure Battlecruiser army, he might be in big trouble.
Well, I mean, even the Thors are pretty good against the Battlecruisers here. But that said, though, Serral can neural these Thors and turn them against the Battlecruisers, or even take the Battlecruisers himself. Now, it looks like the time is now. GuMiho is sending, looks like 9 Battlecruisers straight past Satan's nose.
A Battlecruiser flower. I don't think I'd seen that one before.
Yeah. Well, this orbital burning down here. The SCV's trying to repair it, keeping it out of flames.
Yeah, by the way, GuMiho's economy is not that crazy just yet. Like, his bank, not as big as Serral's, and now he's losing some of his key bases at the bottom as well. He's being sieged.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
The Ravagers are actually going to bile down this CC. It looks like the Planetary is going to go down. Nice pick up there from Serral with a very small amount of units. The BCs, though, are battling and cruising straight through the infrastructure of the Zerg, taking out everything on the way through. Can Serral get on top of this army and take it down?
Yeah, he's going to want to land the perfect parasite moment Fungals here.
Or even Neurals. Couple options. But it just looks so tough to make happen because we got those Ravens here to detect those burrowed units. Anti-armor missiles if he needs as well. These Battlecruisers are so powerful from GuMiho.
GuMiho has been so good the entire game with the scans. Can we take a look at his vision? He's making sure this army never really gets there. Yeah, see, like he stays forward with the Vikings, now landing some anti-armor missiles. Serral's finally ready to take the fight.
He certainly is. The Viper's leading the charge here. The Battlecruiser's eating a parasitic bomb. The Corruptors are all over them. Interference matrix on these Infestors as well. Serral's taking as many as he can. When these Infestors get on taken, oh my god, they get killed before they lose the Interference matrix. They can't be used in the battle, but Serral is somehow slowly cutting through these Battlecruisers with the Corruptors.
The minimap is blinking all over the place. There is engagements everywhere. Battlecruisers reinforced to try and save their brothers across the map here. Corruptors jumping on one more of those in the middle of the map. I think the Thors are cleaning up a lot of these spores, and the new Battlecruisers that come out from GuMiho's starports immediately rejoin the fight here as Serral is struggling to try and replenish his army count in Corruptors and Infestors.
And these Broodlords are like, well, we're not too useful against this big battlecruiser army, so let's just go across the map and start carving through those bases, take out more of the income, cut the head off the snake and the body will fall, and that's what he's going to try and do here. The battlecruisers are still unanswered here in the natural, taking out the Spire. Very nice big off there. If he can get the Greater Spire as well, that means no more Corruptors for Serral.
Yeah, that's the entire infrastructure here of Serral. He's going to have to replenish all that, and I'm not even sure he has a lair here at this stage. One Corruptor gets caught here, and Serral down to 120 army supply. So he's still ahead in army supply. He squeezed out as many Corruptors and Infestors here as he could. Can we see that unique count here for a second? So he's got 18 Corruptors, 6 Infestors. He didn't manage to get any Hydralisks out, and he actually spent his entire back.
No, I don't like the option of going for Hydralisks at the moment. They just feel a little bit flimsy against these battlecruisers, even though they would have +3 attack. It looks like Serral actually remade the Spire earlier. We might have missed that, so he can still continue to make Corruptors. So it's not as dire a situation as we would have thought. And grabbing a Neural here on these Cyclones. Cute play there. It's going to pull them into the Broodlords and kill them.
This might be it. He's going for a massive siege here. GuMiho might have to tactical jump on his side of the map to try and defend that one bottom left-hand side base, because he jumps off the army.
All right, big jump here from GuMiho. The Infestors, though, can he get those Neurals? Oh my god, big Neurals here on the battlecruisers. A lot of them have been taken, but the Yamatos also taking out these Infestors slowly at a time. GuMiho pushing forward with his battlecruisers. Serral trying to give up more of the map, pulling into the Spore Crawler Force to help out this battle, but GuMiho has too much and will tie up the series. What a game on year 0 from GuMiho.
Did you see resources lost? 44,000 to 45,000. This was so even down to the end, and they played so aggressive. Sometimes you see those split map situations and, you know, players really slow down the action. They're not trying to make anything happen. They're just looking to try and split the map, build up the perfect composition, but now they were active the whole time. So many great decisions by both players, but I really feel like GuMiho, dropping that main base as much as he did, he really started to pull Serral out of position because his army was a lot less mobile, and then eventually he got there.
We got chance in the crowd here for the champ. Is this the series where Serral's streak is broken? Or does the streak continue, and will it be GuMiGod, the mech man, the one to make him bleed in this tournament? Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. The next map about to begin. What do you think? What do you think, Todd? What are your predictions here?
I mean, come on, Serral. It was a misstep, okay? Just a little misstep. We're back on course now.
In the top left here, the man in question from NC Sports. It's the world champion. This is Serral. In the bottom right with a beautiful game 2. Can he do it again in game 3? Make some noise for Sidestorm's GuMiho! Front row's happy again. Now the GuMiho's got a map. He's going gas first here. So, doesn't look like a CC verse build this time.
Yeah, I mean, Serral, like, on a map like this, I'm sure he's going to be a lot more comfortable. Obviously, year 0 is a very specific type of map and all that. And actually a little bit surprised we didn't see more stuff like Swarm Host with the new Nidus, you know, like you mentioned what he said in the interview, like with him not using too many Niduses and all that. Maybe that came into play, because I really feel like against something like Mech, if you scout it early and you play with, even Battle Mech, if you play with a lot of Swarm Hosts and Niduses, you can just tunnel through, send in the Flying Locust to kill stuff, get out of there, and then just rinse and repeat all the time, and you're just going to get such good trades.
Yeah, Swarm Hosts are like, you can take a couple paths when you're up against that style. The Swarm Host path's one of them, and the other paths are sort of the more Viper-centric into Spire option we saw from Serral in that last game, which was working for a very long time. It's just that the battlecruiser flock, or the murder of battlecruisers that GuMiho, I don't know what a group of battlecruisers is actually called, but they were just being hidden on the map, and then they surprised Serral. A fleet, there we go. Wow, I am so dumb. It's actually literally what the unit says when you build it. So it is a fleet.
Took a Frenchman to remind you.
Thank you, Frenchman, for helping my English.
So far, nothing too unusual here in this game. Got the factory on the way, GuMiho with the command center on the low grounds. I check that corner here in case there is some cheeky links trying to go around. And do we see Mech one more time here on a map like this? That's the big question out of GuMiho.
It's a pretty sweet map for Mech.
Yeah, he's got his own brand of Mech as well. Like, there's like, you know, even though it's not necessarily crazy or anything, like, or too much out of the ordinary, you can tell that he's definitely figured out some of the timings that you need to go for, and the level of aggression is very important too.
Serral sending the first couple lings across the map here to have a look and see what's going on in GuMihoville. Reaper coming on in here, but Serral's got that. He's actually got the creep tumor out the front there before the inject here to make defending a little bit easier against those Hellions, which GuMiho really likes to have in this matchup. He's going for a 1-1-1 opening here. And the Reaper has confirmed there's a third base from Serral. Just using these lings to try and park it, wait for maybe the Hellions to move out to join up with the Reaper, and then send those lings into the natural.
Yeah, good scout by Serral. Sees the exact starport timing here with the one Overlord. Even peeking back in a little bit, I mean, why not? And he sees there is a tech lab about to be swapped onto the starports.
Yes, it could be Banshee, could be
Raven,
or sometimes it's Viking into Cloak, just to, you know, get a Banshee after the first Viking. So the Viking actually was a great start for GuMiho. There's those lings we sort of expected.
Where are the Hellions?
The Hellions were moving out, and that's exactly what Serral was waiting for.
He's going to get the
Got the mule, nice.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, get rid of that mule. It's a lot of income wasted there and a bit of energy wasted for GuMiho.
If he wasn't sweating yet, he is now. Get that towel in there.
Might need 2 towels. We have the first Viking here with that cloak. Like I mentioned, this is a pretty common thing for Terran to do with the Tech Lab starport as well. So he's going to lose this Overlord, and that Viking's going to go Overlord hunting, and then there'll be a Banshee follow-up.
Yeah, but sucks to be that Overlord. You're just like sitting there waiting to die. It's unavoidable.
Yeah, the first Overlord in every ZVT is a sacrificial Overlord.
F
to pay respects. We have the two Hellions and also this Reaper. They're actually a surprisingly powerful force here in small numbers. You know, you can juggle Queens around, and if you can get a grenade on those Queens, you can juggle them out of choke points into drone lines with those Hellions, which is nice, but not an opportunity for GuMiho in this game at the moment.
Yeah, with the armory on the way, it could get scary because somebody like GuMiho is just so good at using Hellbats and Banshees to synergize attacks, usually around the third base, but in this case, I'm very impressed with the creep spread that he once again has got going here. Serral, look at this. That's going to give him a lot more initiative in terms of being able to engage quickly, even like the Queens are so much faster on creep.
So with this Overlord dead and Serral not having a whole lot of information here, he actually needs to start to realize what's happening here for GuMiho. He's building some Banelings, which are, you know, pretty good against Hellbats. So it looks like maybe he's caught wind. He doesn't know about the armory, obviously. But Hellbat Banshee is something I've seen GuMiho Serral die to before.
Yeah. Let's see if he has enough here. That Banshee is meant to kind of bring him out of position. That one Viking, just like in the Heart of the Swarm trailer, landing and joining the fight.
Nice control here from Serral so far, but here's the deadliest part of this push.
Oh my god, these drones!
Hellbats. I mean, the Queens need to get out of here and get the Banelings in. GuMiho's Hellbats taking a big damage there from those Banelings, but there are still 4 remaining. Denying a lot of mining time here. If you can get rid of the Spore Crawler, then the Banshee has free reign as well.
Oh, the drones are right there! Oh, it's moving them, they're so close!
Save yourselves!
Only 2 of them have died so far, and it looks like it's gonna be a cleanup.
Oh,
Serral is playing with fire quite literally there. He was just standing there, almost like baiting GuMiho to try and get closer.
Looks like no Spore Crawler here. The natural is hurting Serral a bit, but he does have a lair, so the Overseer is coming down to help out with his Queens to defense. This is a rally forward of Hellions. It's a little bit of a misrally for GuMiho. Oh, this Banshee's getting a little bit too deep. Down it goes. Oh! Just out of range there of that Overseer.
Last second cloak, very nicely done.
Yeah.
GuMiho is so insane with his Banshees, by the way. Like, he's been using them forever, ever since Wings of Liberty. He would often open Banshees, and he's really mastered that units. There's not many Terrans that, you know, would try to go for Banshees this much and use them this well, but GuMiho definitely one of the few that can do it well. More factories on the way. We're gonna get some more of that mech play. And 57 drones against 50 SCVs right now. So not too bad damage by GuMiho. He definitely slowed down the drone production.
Yeah, I mean, he lost Banshees, not Banshees, he lost the Hellbats, which do cost a bit, but you're absolutely right. That was a good trade for GuMiho to start things off with. And with the fact that he's getting +1 armor here, it looks like GuMiho is going to go once again into that Cyclone Hellion battle mech style. But this time, he's still getting more and more Banshees. Is he going to get Hyperflight Rotors here and start swagging all over the Zerg? That's a lot of Banshees.
Yeah, I mean, it gets so scary, right? Like in this case, Serral even feels like he has to go for Hydralisks. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be getting a lot of them. Then the question is, does he try to go for an attack? Yeah, I mean, looking at the supply, GuMiho is doing pretty damn good considering he's going mech. Mech feel like accelerator now starts. And it feels like Serral doesn't really have, I was going to say, doesn't have any intention of going Hive anytime soon, but as I say that, obviously he starts the Infestation Pit. Because you have to think of the next step, right? Vipers are very important to get against this kind of mech for Blinding Cloud a lot of the time.
Yeah. I also like, I mean, it looks good on paper here for Serral to be able to getting those Hydras out already. You start making some Hydralisks and those Banshees, if they stand and fight, are going to have a little bit of a rough time because the Banshees are glass cannons. The Hydras generally do deal with them quite well, especially with attack upgrades, which are about to finish. But the Banshees, if they can get in here without being defeated...
Vipers or Swarm Host? That's the question here.
I think Vipers if you're going this many Hydras. And there's 2 Spore Crawler coverage here in the main base. It's getting a lot of drones to this transfer though. Nice pickoffs here from GuMiho.
And he starts the Hive hinting at Vipers. Those Banshees are insane. He could actually target the Hive.
He could. He's got a little space here on the right side of that Spore Crawler to hit it for sure. But even just denying some gas income here, considering Serral's trying to go up in a Hive and get Hive units, also quite nice. And he is hitting that work account of Serral. Baneling speed is done. He's looking for those connections with those Hellions. Nice grenade from GuMiho there.
That was insane. Landed in the middle of everything. I think just when Serral was about to catch a lot of these Hellions and kill them. Saved! Saved with the grenade.
That's right. Saved by the KD-8. We got a 4th CC here from GuMiho as well to the north-hand side. He is expanding very quickly. Serral zoning on the edge of this creep, but GuMiho is doing such a great job at creep denial. He's getting a lot of it. Look at how thin the creep spread is here of Serral. He's nowhere near the middle of the map.
Yeah, Serral, at least he's got the Hive about to finish, so I feel like the Vipers, they're, especially with how good he is with them, they're going to be helping a lot. Service is on the way now.
And 2 links going in here. They see that CC is under construction. Hive about to finish here for Serral. So those lock-ons, and once again getting more and more creep spread, and that's the power of this unit composition. You dart in, get creep spread, and dart back out, making it easier for your push when you get closer and closer to max. Serral's Hydra is getting onto the high ground, doing some nice damage here against these Cyclones, which are going to have a lock-on shortly. All these Lings actually going to deny this command center. The Banelings rolling in from the back, actually connecting with some of the Hellions and the Cyclones as well. Serral pushing with a small group here, which actually might do a surprising amount of damage.
Yeah, the Banshees are across the map, which was actually a very scary attack here from GuMiho, but Queens, the best anti-air in the game, they were ready, they were in position, and now Serral, it looks like he might be able to take out that very important 3rd base here from GuMiho, jumps on top of the units, he's smelling blood in the water, and he's gonna go for it.
I think Serral might have just found the perfect attack timing here. He smelled blood in the water. GuMiho smiling to himself, muttering to himself, but it looks like he might have just been broken here. Those Banshees were a 2 play, and yes, they found damage, but he found himself wanting for a ground force. His Hydra Link countermeasures just not where they wanted to be. So many SCVs here are gonna go down. Oh my god, these Hydras are just too high in count for GuMiho to battle against. He's bringing in those Banshees. Tanks are so important for GuMiho right now. If he loses them here, he's going to certainly have to tap out of this game.
And now there's quite a few tanks out for GuMiho, but he's taken so much damage. 24 SCVs, that's definitely not nothing. And GuMiho's gonna wanna look to try and re-expand here onto that 3rd and 4th base, but Serral well saturated across his own 5 bases. I mean, he's about to saturate that 5th base, already taking the gases there even. Spire on the way, 5 Vipers for Blinding Clouds. I'm worried for GuMiho. The supply not looking too good now.
I'm very, very worried for GuMiho. That attack from Serral was so smart. He really did tons of damage there. And GuMiho is sort of limping along here economically on 51 SCVs. Look at his bank right now. It's almost non-existent. He's getting some Hellions here for a little bit of harassment, but Serral's got 82 drones. Even if he lost 6 drones here, I feel like it wouldn't matter a whole lot in this game.
I don't know if GuMiho is trying to get rid of some...
Banelings out of nowhere connecting, and these Cyclones are like, oh, we all have 10 hit points each, maybe we should go home.
I love how he's like, quite a bit of supply behind it. He's like, I'm gonna try to get rid of some creep. He's like, nope, you will not.
Well, here come the Vipers, and this is a really tough unit for GuMiho to deal with. The Cyclones, of course, can deal with these Vipers, but they need to get through the Hydras first, and that's so tough. He just doesn't have that many Hellions to be able to burn through the Hydra count. He doesn't have siege tanks. These Queens caught out of position without any detection, so the Banshee's still finding some damage. There's that Overseer.
Yeah, those Banshees are deep behind enemy lines here at this point, and I think they're both gonna get sniped. The Greater Spire finally on the way, +2 missile about to finish. One more Viper, Serral adding everything he needs to his perfect mix of units there. With a lot of Hydra, like when you have this many Hydralisks and Vipers against mech, you're doing pretty well, because when you finally go for the attack, you use those Blinding Clouds you prevent a lot of the opponent's army from being able to attack. And in this case, I mean, even the tank count, I don't think he's that scary. What is it, like what, 4, 5? Yeah, 6. So
6 tanks.
If these get blinding clouded properly, the attack here will be massive. All right, well.
There's plenty of energy left in these Vipers as well. So
is that legal?
Pardon?
Is that legal, that many abductions?
Is that legal?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for GuMiho, it is. It's completely possible in this game and should actually be recommended to a lot of Zergs out there when they're up against mech.
Yeah, GuMiho has not much mobility as well, right? His tanks can't really move, so it's just like for the Cyclones and the Hellions to kind of, you know, go around to try and make something happen. But even his top right-hand side base is like really exposed, and in this case, it's going to be, I think, Baneling sent in here in a second.
Yeah, this base is super vulnerable for GuMiho.
This one tank is like, I got this.
Do you though? With the Hellions coming in, he's doing some nice splash damage there. Yeah, I mean, the Banelings actually got dealt with relatively nicely there. One did get into the SCV line, but only managed to damage the SCVs, not kill them. Oh, that's a few more Banelings. 20 being morphed here on the bottom.
Yeah, at this point, Serral's going to start on building an incredible economy as well. Like his bank, he's just going to keep on skyrocketing upwards. So many Vipers. +3 missile attack is still on the way. A lot of abductions going down, and GuMiho, if he gets the rest of his army sniped there, with all of these Banelings coming in, this might be it.
Oh, dude, these abductions pulling the Terran units into Zerg's loving embrace. Serral is all over GuMiho's third base. This orbital is going to go down, and Serral's streak continues. GG! A 2-1 victory over the mech god GuMiho. Really sick game 2 there. GuMiho putting a lot of hope there for him, but Serral, he's the hope crusher. What a series, Todd. What do you think?
I think Serral is on another level. He might have lost a map here, but he looked so convincing in the 2 that he won.
Beautiful stuff from the world champion, continuing to assert his dominance here on the stage. Let's take a short break, and when we come in back, we're going to have an interview with Smix and Serral.